I hope you are able to see my screen. So today topic is, let us discuss what is DevOps. So what is DevOps? In simple terms, you can say that DevOps is a culture that improves the organization deliveries. So every organization will be having some clients. Clients will be having some requirements. So those requirements organization will be solving, providing to the client so that they will be getting some revenue. So why DevOps? Basically, why DevOps has introduced, what DevOps will be doing, we will discuss today. So whenever there is a bug, okay, whenever we are having some application, okay, we are having some application, or you're playing some game, okay. While playing the game, sometimes you will be having some bug in the application, okay. What happens, usually you are facing any bug in application, what they will do, they will update it, they will upgrade the application in general, okay. So that may takes few minutes. So to resolve that bug, it will, developers backend, they will be resolving accordingly, and they will be upgrading the version, okay. So this may take some time, okay. Usually that may take some time. So what DevOps will do in this case? How can we achieve a good product, good application, good game? Okay, for example, how can we achieve that basically? So you can say that whenever we are building some application, what DevOps will do? DevOps is a process of improving the application delivery. Okay, DevOps is a process of improving the application delivery through some of the entities like automation, okay, quality, continuous monitoring, continuous testing. So whenever you are building some application or some website, okay, what we need to keep in mind, you should have some automation, quality, and you have to test that application twice, and you need to monitor whether the application is working perfectly or not. So for example, let's take some example, okay. If we are having some factory, we are working in some factory, biscuits factory, okay. So whenever we are creating some product, we should be some automation process. Whenever we are building some biscuits, we can't build it manually, right? It will take some time for building the biscuits manually. Uh, for making the biscuits in suppose in any factory, it takes some time. So instead of taking long time, we use some machineries. Use some machineries and we automate, right? So this is kind of improving the efficiency. And once you build the product, okay, once you build the product, you have to have some quality. You should have some quality biscuits. If your biscuits are quality, then only you will be sustaining in the market. So you need to ensure the quality of the product you are building. And sometimes, you know, whether the quality of the biscuits is fine or not, we will do some testing in the factory. Okay, testing the biscuits. Okay, so this is mandatory thing. Without testing, we can't sell to the end user, to the customer. Without testing, they will not send to the customer. In the same way, while we are making the biscuits, we have to monitor it. We have to monitor the process. Directly, blindly, if initially if the missionaries are creating the biscuits, then we are testing the biscuits quality and testing is done, then you will not leave, right? So somewhere if machines or machineries are going down, okay, your productivity will be going down. In that case, we have to ensure monitoring. We have to ensure monitoring is taking place. Okay, so in the same way, what are the example I am telling, in the software industry also, DevOps is a new culture where we need to keep in mind all these four entities and we need to develop a application. You have to make sure automation is done. You have to make sure the quality. Okay, if you are doing the task manually, then it takes some time, right? It takes, for example, if you are doing the some task manually, it takes 2 weeks. But when you introduce automation or when you are writing some code, what happens? It will be completed in 1 week. Right? As a DevOps engineer in any organization, what's the DevOps engineer task is to reduce the time from 2 weeks to 1 week. So this is the responsibility of a DevOps engineer. Basically, why DevOps? When we say why DevOps engineer, all these entities will be coming into picture. Okay. Now you understood why we use DevOps engineer. What is the requirement of DevOps in the software industry, in the software development, in the software lifecycle development? So this is basically this is DevOps. Sorry, it's not why. It's what. What is DevOps? Now all this is fine. We understood on the high level. We understood that DevOps is something, whatever the things we are doing so manually, doing the things automating, quality testing and monitoring, keeping these all entities, and we will be using the DevOps. We understood what is DevOps. Now why we require DevOps in day to day? activities of a engineer or developing the applications. If you observe around 10 to 15 years ago, okay, 10 to 15 years ago, what used to be there? There is waterfall method. Waterfall method of delivering the project. Okay, waterfall method used to be used. But what is waterfall method? Okay, for example, there is a organization. There is an organization, XYZ organization. XYZ organization. So, how this organization basically generate the revenue by the client itself. For example, there is a for example, there is a requirement to develop a banking application, bank website. Okay, bank team will be consulting this particular XYZ organization, and they will be providing the requirements. They will be providing the requirements, whatever else they want, how their bank website should be there, right? For example, how the website will be there, basically we will be having some username, password, okay, and once the user enters the his credentials, he will be logging into the official page. So there you will be having different sections like accounts, okay, profile, net banking, statements, bank balance, mini statement, something. You will be having different interface, right? Okay, whenever he has initially or this XYZ organization takes the requirements from the banking people, and they will be finalizing the design. Okay, around initially they told 1 2 3 4 5, okay, 5 requirements. Initially they told to develop 5 requirements. Okay, this particular organization in older days, what they used to do, they used to follow the waterfall method. How the waterfall method will be there, basically they will be developing, they will be taking the requirement, they will start developing with respect to the 5 requirements. Okay, but after 3 months, this particular client, okay, what is this? This is client. This client came and told that they want a new feature. They want another new feature. For example, what this organization used to do, they used to start the project. Already they have built 1 2 3 interfaces. For example, if this client is asking to build another 6th interface, then they used to start from first. They used to start the developing from the starting onwards. With respect to the 5, they are not able to build another one interface. Okay, so waterfall method failed, because again time taking, right? After 3 months, if they are coming with a new feature, they need to start from entire process from the base. They need to start again. So this is the method previously used to be there. To overcome waterfall method, agile method has been introduced. Agile organizations basically follow this agile process now. Okay, what is agile process? Even though client is coming, okay, for example, initially they have developed 3 months, okay, 3 months 5 interfaces. If client is coming with a new interface, or else they are telling to build a new interface, they will start, they will not start from scratch, they will continue from there. Okay, they are going to continue from there. Whatever the new requirements comes, with respect to that, they will be continuing the project delivery. within the time period. For example, the time period may be 6 months. Okay, within the time period they used to develop the project. In this way, the waterfall method used to be there 10 to 15 years ago. So what used to happen basically, many developers used to push the code to a centralized repository. Okay, there is one developer. For example, there is one developer. Okay, he is building some website. He is building some website. Whenever the developer develops the code, he will push the code to some centralized repository. He will push the code to the centralized repository. Okay, there used to be one server and they used to push the code. Like that, there we are having multiple developers in the organization. They are going to push to the single centralized server. So it is hectic, right? Basically, to manage whoever is pushing to single server. Okay, this is hectic to manage who is pushing what code. There is no proper versions. Okay, previously it is not a good approach. But whenever the DevOps takes place, okay, then everything is going smooth. To overcome this, DevOps has been evolved. Okay, so for example, we are having different engineers. In previously we used to have system admin. Okay, system admin. What he used to do, he used to develop he used to create a server. Basically create a server. After building the server, what the developer used to do, developer used to write the code, develop the code, and what he will do, he will push to the centralized repo. Okay, from there what happened, it will be deployed in some server. Okay, for example, this is some kind of code repository, code repo. For example, whatever the code is developed by developer, it is placed into one server. Okay, so once it is placed into server, okay, what if everything is working or not, there is another guy. What he used to do, he used to do testing. Okay, tester or QA team. Okay, there used to be some tester or QA team. What they do, whether the application is working correctly or not. Okay, application is working correctly or not, tester used to test the application. And there is another engineer who is build and release engineer. There is another engineer, build and release engineer. What build and engineer used to do, he used to, once testing is done, what is build and release engineer task? He should deploy the app into a server. Build and release engineer task is to deploy the app into the server. Okay, there is another engineer, server admin. What server admin used to do, he used to create that app server. whatever the build and release engineer, once this thing is done, he used to deploy the app in the server, app server, application in the app server. Who is going to create the app server? Server admin used to create the app server. So previously these many engineers used to be there. Okay, each and individual with respect to their task, they used to develop the project accordingly. Now if you observe what's happening here, multiple parties are involved here, right? System admin is there, tester is there, build and release engineer is there, server admin is there, right? Multiple parties are involved here. Okay, and there used to be no lack of coordination sometimes. Okay, there everyone should be in collaborated manner, right? Once system admin is created server, application, once build and release engineer is deployed the application, testing is done, server admin used to create that app. So all this coordination should be takes place in between all these engineers. Okay, here what there is a lack of coordination and there is a time based process. So to improve this process, basically to improve this process, DevOps engineer is evolved. To improve this whole and soul process, single DevOps engineer is evolved here. So in any organization, basically, if you are using some Terraform, okay, I have told you what is Terraform yesterday, right? So basically, so Terraform, whenever they are used a different tool rather than Terraform, if any organization is adopting a new tool, you need to mold according to that and you need to learn that tool. Okay. So if you know one tool, okay, that is not the process. Okay, if you know, even if you know one tool, you need to have some eagerness to learn a new tool, new product, whatever the organization is using. Okay, you need to use a new tool and you need to build the project accordingly. So now, so whenever you are going to some interview, okay, whenever you are going to some interview, though you are not having experience in DevOps engineer, you can just learn the DevOps related things and you can portray that you are working from last 2 years or last 1 year. Okay, for example, you are having experience of around 4 to 5 years, let's say. You can, if you wanted to work as a DevOps engineer, then you don't need to say that you are having 4 years or 5 years, whole 5 to 4 years. You can just simply tell them that I know the DevOps services. I have been worked as a 1 year to 1.5 year, something like that. Though you are a Java engineer, Java developer or a Python developer or a fresher cloud engineer, fresher, or you are coming from different background like tester, you need to tell if you are eager to jump into DevOps field. You can tell that you are having knowledge in around 1 to 1 year. You are having knowledge on some Terraform, Docker, Kubernetes, Git. Okay, you can tell in that manner. Okay. You should have some basic idea on how these tools are working. Okay, so that will be useful for your career growth. As you know, DevOps engineer is having huge demand in the market. So whenever you are going in the DevOps journey, you need to have some prerequisite of Linux. Okay, you should have some prerequisite of Linux, Windows administration, Linux administration. You should have some basic cloud knowledge. Okay, it may be AWS or Azure or GCP, something like that. You should have some basic prior knowledge on how the cloud computing works. What are the different services in cloud like compute, network, storage. Okay, you should have some troubleshooting skills on this particular cloud and Linux. Then only you can work on the DevOps tools. Okay, so just have knowledge on these terminologies, like Git, Terraform, Docker, Kubernetes. Okay, you should have basic knowledge on these aspects. Even if you're having some knowledge on GitHub, and GitHub Actions is also many organizations are using. Okay, GitHub Actions. Popularly, this is also used as CI/CD for CI/CD pipeline. GitHub Actions also used in these days, and you also should have knowledge on Jenkins as well, which is continuous integration and continuous delivery tool in the market. CI and CD, continuous integration and continuous deployment. So if you are having these combination, then it is good to sustain as a cloud DevOps engineer. With respect to this, you should have some knowledge on basic language, Python or shell scripting. Okay, shell scripting. So this combination, okay, if you are having, wherever you go, if you see any resume, if you see any organization, they are posting any job requirement, these entities will be there for sure. Okay, these are very much important as a to sustain as a cloud DevOps engineer. Okay, fine. So you understood what is DevOps, why we use DevOps, right? Now let us go to the another topic, SDLC. What do you mean by SDLC? Software development life cycle. Software development life cycle. Software development life cycle. Let me write here. Let me show you the process. This is important. Okay, so this is very much important in any software industry. It is a process followed in any software industry to design, develop and testing. Okay, to deliver the projects with high efficiency in a structured organized manner. You have to know what is software development life cycle. So whenever you are in any organization, you should have some proper design. Okay, once you get the design, you will be developing according to the design. Okay, once developing the design, what you have to do? You have to do the testing. Okay, design, develop. Testing is important in any organization. Once design is available, what the developer will be doing, he will develop the resources according to the design. Okay, once the resources are developed, whether they are working or not, we have to do some testing. Okay, so at the overallly, what you should have some high efficiency, or you should have a good product with respect to this. This is the end goal. End goal is to provide high quality product, right, to the customer. Without testing, we can't give our product to the customer. If we give, it will be failing. For example, there is a client. Okay, there is a client. Okay, so client is nothing but is a customer to the any organization. Okay, so client has some requirement to build some e-commerce website. For example, he wants the Amazon website website. Okay, Amazon.com. He wanted to build some website. What is the process? What is the base process any organization follows? Okay, let's see that. Before that, I'll show you this. What are the things involved here? You will be having planning. You'll be having planning. Next, you should have some defining. Okay. Next, what you'll be having? I'll just drawing the life cycle. Okay, how the software development life cycle architecture looks. I'll be just showing you now. Okay, next phase is defining. Next phase will be, I'll be first writing all this life cycle, then I'll explain each and everything. No worries. Okay, defining. Next comes designing. Designing. Next comes building. Next, once building, the testing. Next, deploying. Clear? So this is the life cycle. Once this is done, next you have to go for the defining. Okay, what is planning? Planning, whenever client is giving some requirement to build some website, what the organization generally does, who brings basically client or any from your organization, any salesperson or else any high level management, what they will initially, they will be bring client, or they will be do some marketing or else something, and they will bring the client. And what they will do, they will be initially taking all the requirements from the client. Okay, for example, this particular client has wants some e-commerce website like Amazon.com, and Amazon.com obviously they'll be having different entities. Like if you see here, Amazon.com has different interfaces like fashion related, clothes related, shoes, slippers, makeup duties. So they'll take what are all the requirements you want. Okay, basic requirements on the high level. What requirements you want, they will be taking all the information from the client. Okay, what is that phase called? It is planning. In this planning phase, all your high level management will go to the client and they will be taking all the requirements from there. So that is the planning stage. Once planning stage is done, they will be taking all the inputs from there and they will be writing some MOM with respect to the meeting, and they will be defined. They will define the whatever they have discussed with the client. They will write some documents. Okay. In the defining stage, what they will do, they'll document everything. Whatever they are discussed with the client, they will be doing some documentation on that. Okay, basically that will be software requirement specification document, they will be calling that. So where all the requirement data will be documented over in the defining stage. Next, after defining stage, you will be going to the designing. Who will be designing this particular thing? According to the initial meeting, all the planning, all the requirements taken by the client, and all the things are documented. And with respect to that, in organization, you will be having some senior person like architect, okay, senior engineer or architects. What his task is to do, he should build the infrastructure. He should design the infrastructure, not build. His task is to design the infrastructure, like you'll be having high level design, low level design. Okay, so with respect to the high level design, what type of databases are required for this website, or how many servers, or kind, if you want any auto scaling, or if you want any load balance to be introduced, all that design will be doing by the architect responsibility is to design the project requirement. Once architect has done with the design, what he will do, what next stage will be building. Okay, here comes the developer. According to the architect design, what developer will do, he will be developing the code. Okay, developer will be developing the code, and he'll be pushing the code to any repository. Here actual DevOps engineer will be coming in this stage. Okay, DevOps engineer will be coming in this stage. What the DevOps engineer task, he should basically if you are having some knowledge on developing, or you can also write, or else separate developers will be there, so they will be developing the code according to the architecture. Once developer is developed the code, they will be pushing the code to the Git repository. For example, let me write this stage. Okay, here in the with respect to this stage, I am just writing here, developer will develop the code. Okay, what he will do, he will push to the Git is basically, it is a centralized code storage repository. In Git you will be having some repositories where you can store the code. Okay, so after storing the code, what basically many developers will be there. Okay, so all the developers will be developing the code and pushing to the code. In this process, all peer reviews will be takes place. Okay, peer reviews by the engineers, by the developers will be taking place. Then after developer pushes the code to the Git, okay, the code is taken from the Git and it is deployed in the server, for example. Okay, so it is deployed in the server. Once it is deployed in the server, next, what is the next phase? Testing phase comes here. Okay, what are the application or the code deployed in the application or the server, testers, or you will be having some QA team in the testing phase. What quality analysts what this team will be doing, according to the architecture, or they will be writing some test cases, okay, test cases, and they will be following some test strategies, and they will be doing the testing accordingly. Once testing is done, okay, if they give approval, testing is done, everything is fine, then we have to deploy in the deployment takes place. Finally, the code is deployed in the production server. Initially, it will be deployed in the dev server, okay, dev. Next, it will be deployed in the production server. It is deployed in the production server. What is production server? End user, client, or you basically the users just sitting at home generally will be accessing this particular website, right? So this particular website people will be accessing. So end-to-end process will be in this manner. Okay. So this is somehow software development life cycle. So once the deployment is done, this application will be going live. Okay, we should have some monitoring. Okay, monitoring also takes place in this process. So whether the deployed server is working or not, the engineers will be monitoring the server as well. So this is how the software development life cycle will be there. Next, with respect to this, so basically why we are doing all these things? To provide a good efficiency to the process. DevOps engineer, what he should do, all this process, he should fasten all this process by automating. All this process should be automated, and it should complete. He should complete the project within that time. Okay. DevOps engineer responsibility is to automate all this process, so that you'll be delivering the high quality kind of good product, good and high quality product. Okay, product in the sense, it may be any application or website kind of thing. Okay, so I hope this content is good, and you are able to get my intention to understand what DevOps engineer and why we use DevOps day-to-day life. Okay, so to further we'll discuss tomorrow on further different topic like virtual machines and virtualization concepts in the next class. So hope you like this video. You can support this content, and you can share your experience on my teaching. Thank you.